as long as I'm running and I don't stop, I won't feel the emotion. As long as I keep going, as long as I, keep dancing, keep booking, keep touring, going on shows, I didn't even realize what dancing was. I would see my cousin opening up for Keisha Cole. I would see her, dancing with her dance team. I realized that I want to do that too, but I didn't know how to say it because I'm a boy growing up in the South, and what boys dance? We don't do that. You play sports, you go to school. I was even thinking about going into the Air Force. I was like, what way can I get away? Just me seeing my cousin living, dancing, doing shows, it just kind of planted a seed inside of me. So my cousin asked me to dance with them, and I fell in love from the first 8 count. My first major job was with Erykah Badu. All those years later, before we went on stage, I wanted to tell her I was just so nervous. I was like, oh my God, this is my first job. I didn't even know you get paid from dance. I didn't know we made money for it. I didn't know how much I was getting paid. I didn't know anything. And Erykah Badu was standing there, and I was like, hey, do you know T? She was like, the one who drives the buses? I was like, yeah, that's my stepdad. She was like, oh my God. I was like, years ago, I told you that I would dance for you one day. And she remembered it. And she started screaming. I started screaming. It was like a beautiful moment right before I go on stage. And that was kind of like the real reset for my life. And I literally used dance as a catalyst for years to come to, just change my life. It really did. It changed my life. I went from being homeless in Pensacola and being homeless in Atlanta to working on TV shows, award shows, movies, working with my dream artists. And this is when my inspiration, those nuggets of dream big started to those seeds started to crack. I could not yet see it, but I felt it. And I realized that when I spoke, things started to manifest. But in my brain, I'm just like, just keep dancing, just keep dancing. And then that sent me in a loop to kind of disassociate from my body. That just started this new journey in my life where I'm like, okay, I'm, healing, mind you, I didn't go to therapy at this point. And I'm healing, I'm happy, I'm working, I'm booking, I'm, dancing, I'm living this life, but also I was running from my past. At the time, I didn't even have a driver's license. I didn't even do the bare minimum to be a grown adult. If I wanted to get a car, I couldn't because I was too afraid to get the license because I was afraid to fail, and it started this habit of, if I'm doing all the easier things and things that feel good so that I don't feel like a horrible person. I'm on this race, dancing, touring. I ended up working with countless people, Sean Bankhead, the Diddy's, the Ambrias, the Kanisha Colemans, Cody Wiggins, the Xavier Welchers, all of these amazing talented dancers. And I ended up working on movies, and it's just been tremendous. But I realized that in booking these shows and working as a dancer, I also wasn't living. I didn't go to people's birthdays. I miss funerals. I miss weddings. I miss every special moment that I could have with a family member. I missed it because I was running. That's when my parents started to accept me more. When they saw me being successful, that's when I always believed in you. I knew you could do it. I told him he could do it. I always tell my children, if God told you to do it, you could do it. Ma'am, wait, I got here because I was homeless because of you. I got here to get away from you. You accept my gayness when it's convenient for you. I'm doing all these things and you're utilizing my gift, but when it comes to me being gay, you don't accept me. You don't accept that part of me. Dance became my only identity. When I was around my father, he would always say what you working on? It was never, how do you feel? My mom would always say y'all know he working with Missy, right? Man, everybody ooh, your son is doing big things. And they loved all of that. And I loved it too. But I realized nobody was ever asking me, are you okay? And all of those emotions and traumas just started to slowly creep up over the years. I started to then get into this loop of my body being a vessel for other people. The more successful I was, the more people liked me, the more people accepted me. I never fit in anywhere. So finally I'm fitting into this new lifestyle, but I never knew who I was. I was the abused little boy who was in church, who was beaten, who was the dancer as well. But all of these identities were false. Nothing was ever me. So whenever it came time to me to freestyle and dance, I didn't even know what to do. I was able to emulate, I was able to imitate, but I didn't even know how to get into my own body to dance. At the time, me and my then boyfriend, we ended up breaking up. He was calling me like, we need to talk. I'm like, no. And he called me back and he was like, I want to see you. I want to talk to you. And something in my spirit was like, one day was like, say yes. So I had to come back to Atlanta for a job that I was working on. And we went on a date, and it was a really good date. I went out to eat, we hung out, and that night we were laying in the bed together. He was like, I want to tell you that, you know, I'm HIV positive, and I think that you should get tested too. I want to take you tomorrow. I want to see if you test positive. So the next day he took me to the doctor's office, and the nurse comes back and says, I'm sorry, but you're HIV positive. I didn't cry. I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, I got this, because in my brain, I don't know why, it was, okay, now I'm positive, you positive too, we really finna be together, you know? Now I got you, we stuck forever. Wrong answer. He just did not have the emotional capacity to love me, to see me the way that, you know, I truly was. And I also was guilty because I did not show it to him, you know? I didn't tell him the truth. I didn't tell him who I was out of fear of losing him. I didn't tell him about my schooling. I didn't tell him about my license. I didn't tell him about just certain things that I was ashamed of that I had to go through, because he seemed so picture perfect. He was very well put together, and he honestly was. I would say to him, love is enough. Love is enough to fix this. Love is enough. Love is enough. And he was like, love is not enough. And that used to send me over the moon. Like, what do you mean? Do you not love me? Like, what is this? And, you know, so my inner triggers would get triggered, because I'm like, you love me, I love you. What do you mean? If we love each other, love is supposed to be able to, you know, heal all of this. And in actuality, he was right. Looking back at it, love is not enough. He couldn't be my everything and my all, because I needed to be my own everything, but I never knew who I was. I was going through so much, and all I could think was back when my mom would say, you're gonna get AIDS, you're gonna get HIV. I'm like, I'm proving her right. I'm proving her right. If I tell anybody about this, I'm proving her right. I don't want to tell her. I don't want her to throw this in my face. They're gonna make fun of me. I know there are other dancers who have HIV, but I couldn't even confide in a friend because I didn't even know anybody personally with HIV. I was losing weight. I got so skinny. It was so crazy. I didn't even realize how skinny I was. I went a whole year in my diagnosis suffering in silence. I couldn't speak on it. I couldn't confide in anybody. So the best thing for me at that time was to disassociate from it. I didn't really try to emotionally attach to what that was. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm about to die. After my diagnosis, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Every day, I was crying. I was depressed. My stomach was hurt. The medicine that I was on was horrible. I contemplated committing suicide within that first year, because who did I have? At that time, me and my mom were not talking, because, and again, I was dating somebody and she didn't accept them. She didn't accept me, not knowing that I'm going through HIV status. It's just so much going on, and my relationship is crumbling. And again, that was my fault as well. I didn't know how to be a man, or I didn't know how to step up to the plate. I didn't know how to accept what was going on. I didn't even know how to deal with what I was going through. I'll never forget, my agent told me that Missy Elliott wanted me to come in to audition. And it was literally on a day that I planned to commit suicide. And I always tell Missy, I told her recently, thank you, because she saved my life. And me booking that job is another reason why I'm still here. And me even being in that room to audition, it just gave me something to look forward to. And I'm thankful that that happened, because now I look for reasons to live. It was just a reset in my brain. Allow yourself to love again. Allow yourself to live. I've been alive my whole life, but I never lived. I don't think I've ever been living. I don't go on vacations. I don't really have fun. I don't really hang out. I don't do anything. I'm just working to work to working to work. You know, it was never, I don't feel like I'm ever enjoying life. And so now I'm in a phase where even after my HIV status, even after that tumultuous relationship, even after, you know, just everything that I've been through, now I'm removing everything that is going to stop me from living, and I'm focusing now on living my life.
OMW, nothing left to prove. So enjoy the view, taking a picture like Malibu.